All right, here's a 1988 Honda fourtrax 300 four-wheel drive. My dad bought it new back in 1988, and back then I think he spent, I want to say it was $5,000 on it. Came with a snowplow, but it lost a spark about 10 years ago, and my dad just sort of left it out to die. So I asked him if he wanted to get rid of it. He said, go ahead and take it. So I brought it home and started bringing it back to life. First off, I totally stripped it down. The body was so weathered and brown and oxidized and cracked, and by crack I mean there was just tons of little small cracked in it, like cracks like like glass. I don't know, it was just weird looking. So I don't know if there's still a little bit here, you might be able to see it. Can you get it to focus? Yeah, I can't get it to zoom in, sorry. But it was in pretty rough shape. So I sanded it with 300, 600, 1500, and then 2000 grit sandpaper. And then I sprayed it's a Rust-Oleum UV protectant, clear coat, and it brought it back to life. I was able to keep the smaller stickers on, the 300, the one that says Honda here in the front, and a little Honda in the back. Here it had a big 4x4 on each fender and a big 4x4 here, but I couldn't take them off in one piece, so I just had to rip them off and sand it. Well, I got the frame, not the frame, I got the body done, so then I started working on the frame. Took all the wheels off, had it sitting on jack stands, and I went to town with a wire wheel and an angle grinder and a wire wheel and a screw gun and metal brush, and got all the surface rust off. It was mostly surface rust. There wasn't hardly any, there was no holes. Except for in the snowplow, there was a hole that I had to braze and doctored that up. But the bottom of the frame looked good. So I cleaned it all up, painted it. Same with the engine. And as you can see, it's nice and clean looking. And I did a heat temp on the engine, the gray, and then a heat temp on the exhaust in a black. The exhaust was a little bit of surface rust on it, nothing major. So I was lucky there. Shocks are still good. Two of the tires are dry rotted, so I had to cut off the valve stems, break the beads, and I put 2 tubes in them. What else? No, the wheels were just covered in surface rust, so I had to get the wire wheel out and sand them down, and I painted them. It turned out pretty good. Then I got a little fancy and I painted the word Honda on the center cap. And what else? Here's underneath. Everything's clean. I did paint this to sort of make it pop a little bit. But the reason it wasn't getting a spark was, I think it's called the CDI box. It's a little thing that controls the ignition. Spark, I guess. But it was a $12 part on eBay. Or maybe $15, I forget what I paid for it. Put a new one on. I changed the gear oil in the front, the back, and here in the little transfer case. Put a new spark plug, new oil filter, new battery. and fresh gas in it, and within a minute I had it running. She's good. So here's the key. Alright, she'll be good to go. There she is. She's running. Gotta play with the choke a little bit. It hasn't run in a few days. But anyhow, she's good. The gas tank is in nice clean shape. Just a couple little marks, but nothing major. There's a lot of surface rust on here I had to clean up. Well, the seat cover was shot. There was holes all over it. The cushion itself was in good shape. No chunks taken out of it, so I was able to reuse it. And on eBay, picked this one up for it was under $30, and it came with the Honda logo on it. My dad still has, so I think he did find it, but I got to get it from him still. It's the cover for this, little battery cover. But it's about all I did to it to get it running. The only thing really wrong with the body is there's a crack here that goes down, and you can see it right here, and then it goes down into here. But I put a little bit of glue in there, a little bit of red paint, put a sticker there so you don't notice it as much. But I guess when my dad was using the plow, he ran into a fence on his property and broke it. I did see online 2 other videos where they have flush mount LEDs, and I found some red ones and they fit perfectly in those holes. I'm thinking about changing those. But yeah, for a free 4-wheeler, it just took me some elbow grease and some time. And I got a nice 300 4-wheel drive and a snowplow. So this winter, hopefully I get a lot of snow here in Pennsylvania so I can go out and play. I'll plow my whole neighborhood. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and let me know what you think.